Okay. I'm continuing from the chronological Yuan Qi experiences. So, what I forgot to mention is so since my lunch So after Chow said she was going to float around with Qi energy, and then she had people walk towards her and feel the Qi. And then she had us make Qi balls, and you hold your hands facing each other. And sure enough, I felt a very strong magnetic force pushing my palms apart. And I was shocked. I'm like, wow, I can't believe it. And then, and the thing is that I was very healthy at the time. I was vegan. We had a vegan cookbook, and so we just followed it. Because I had been vegetarian since high school. Was my Chinese friend. He said he was vegetarian because of Tibet, and I don't know why. I became vegetarian. And that was around like 88, and now this was 95. So, and then I biked to work every day, and I would bike up this steep hill, and I was working full time at a nonprofit for the deaf community. And okay, so anyway, then everybody pretty much left, and we were about to leave, but then just say she was obese, which is pretty actually kind of for the U.S. Anyway. And she just says, I'm just wondering what's going on in here because the fuse got blown in the room behind you. And when she said that, I was shocked, man, And everybody was pretty much gone. And Effie P, Chow, I can't even remember what she said, because what do you say to that, right? And I'm just kind of like, all right, let's get out of here. And I didn't practice Qigong at the time. This was 95. But for some reason, I was doing really intense activism. And I made my own free newsletter, and I was the contact in the Earth First newspaper, which gets you on the FBI list. I mean, we had the FBI actually. Our phone was tapped on. I could hear it. I wasn't being proud. I had gotten arrested. Well, anyway, so I had this dream that was very, very intense, and I woke up. I had been keeping a journal, and it was 2:30 a.m. I wrote it down. I said, I think this dream's going to come true in the future because it was more real than being awake. And it was my activist friends with Native Americans, and they were standing on the roof of a house. And they were holding a banner, and it was to protect a forest area, like a sacred forest. And I thought, that's a very specific dream. And so anyway, I forgot about it, because until three years later, I was living at a friend's house, and she was how I met. She told me about Chun Lin. She said I was doing the Yan Chin Qigong at another house. We all lived together. It was like I was invited to move into this house by somebody I just met, and we're still good friends. He's, I guess you could say he's my best friend. But anyway, so she was from Venezuela, and I fell in love with her, but we didn't. But anyway, she said I was doing the Yan Chin Qigong. She said, yeah, I did Qigong with this guy Chun Lin, and it was just me and a philosophy professor. Just the three of us. And that's when he just started out, and he was at this community college. And then he was a speaker at my spiritual healing class at the university. I was taught by a Jesuit priest. He was one of my advisors for my liberal studies degree. And then I sat right in front, and he said, you might feel some heat if you're by me. And that's exactly what I was thinking. Like right when he said this exact same thing that I was thinking. And he looked just like the Qigong master that I read about in David Eisenberg's book. He was a Harvard medical doctor. His book's called Encounters with Qi. And that guy, and he looked just like the guy who demonstrated telekinesis. And I don't know why, it's just that I know this guy's for real, And so I didn't take his class. That was 1999 that I actually met him. Okay, so in 1998, I was living at my friend's house. She, like I said, she told me about Jimmy. And then I'm in my room, and I had boxes of files from activism. I mean, literally just boxes and boxes. And I would just, like I do online, I would do it with paper back then. Just absorb research and collate it and write newspapers and letters. And so I was staring at this newspaper. It was a photocopy of a newspaper story. And I looked down, and it's a photo and the photo is precisely the same image that I had dreamt about. It's my activist friends that I know, I had gotten arrested at this. It was on the front page of the Earth First newspaper for several times, I think, and we called it the Minnehaha Free State. And another girlfriend of mine, she even taught the guys to she helped out when they were doing tree climbing, for the ropes. She was a rock climber, so she helped. Even though politically she she isn't into nature, because we lived in Alaska together. Anyway, so I'm staring at this. All of a sudden, I got this really strange, uncanny sensation, and I remembered my dream from 3 years ago,